Hey everyone, Skull902 back here for McDonald's Treasureland Adventure. This is part 2, and we're going to be going through the magical town on the magical train in a magical adventure featuring Ronald McDonald. Looking for magical treasure with his magical jewels as his health. Alright, I'll stop. But welcome to part 2 here. As we go through this here level, and world, because again, like all the parts are actually like a full world, but you know that they are so seamless. Like it seems like just one level. But as we go through here, there are actually some other McDonald's mascots that I want to get into and talk about for a bit, because you know they're not necessarily a part of McDonald Land, right? But you know. It helps. You know, in my opinion, it'll help, but let's just fucking talk about them already. The first McDonald's mascot, in fact, the very first corporate mascot for McDonald's, like Ronald McDonald was introduced in 1963, I believe, but before then, McDonald's was represented by a little guy named Speedy, who they still use every now and then in like their more retro-inspired restaurants. Like sometimes they'll have a McDonald's that's built to look like a really old McDonald's from like the 50s or so, and they'll use Speedy there. In fact, I was introduced to Speedy in one such McDonald's. It was near my school in like 5th grade or so. And they had Speedy all around, but Speedy was basically just a representation of how quick the service was at McDonald's, because, you know, again, this is like the early days of fast food, you know. You go to a sit-down restaurant and you wait like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes after you order for your meal to arrive. But what they were saying and visualizing with Speedy was, you know, you order at McDonald's and you get your food, you know, super quick. You know, just it's fast food. What a novelty. You know, they're a dime a dozen now, but back then that was pretty nice. So yeah, Speedy. Not much more to say about him. He's like a little dude with a spatula running around because he's quick. So yeah. The second mascot that I wanted to mention here is Mac Tonight. Who was introduced in the 1980s. So he was around during the same time as McDonald Land, but he wasn't a part of it. Mac Tonight was sort of like a throwback to the era of the 1950s. He played piano and sang a song called Mac Tonight, which was a parody of a song called Mac the Knife, which was originally a German tune, translated into English during the time that they're trying to call back to. And basically, like, Mac Tonight was like a nostalgia character, you know, and his whole thing was trying to, like, get people to have McDonald's for dinner. Because I guess, like, after a certain time, he started off in Southern California, and then they made it national. But I guess certain McDonald's were concerned about their after 4 p.m. numbers, so they introduced that ad campaign, you know, getting Mac Tonight to try and convince the masses to, you know, eat dinner at the restaurant, and it worked, apparently. It was a fairly successful ad campaign until... you know, I mentioned the lawsuit last time with McDonald Land. Another lawsuit brought an end to that campaign when the estate, represented by the son of the guy who sang Mac the Knife in English, sued them for royalties because they didn't like ask permission to parody the song, which... as far as I know, anyway, legally you don't have to do, but I don't know. I guess he just thought it rude that McDonald's didn't do that, but that brought an end to that campaign. But it wasn't so much the end of Mac Tonight in general. Oh, here's Birdie the Early Bird, by the way. But it wasn't quite the end of Mac Tonight, because they did in certain McDonald's restaurants. They installed like animatronic versions of him, and you know, he would play his piano and whatnot. A very novel idea. But also, one of the things, in fact, I first like found out about Mac Tonight from was there was a NASCAR driver who had him like on his car, and they included that car in a Happy Meal promotion. And you know, I've never really been much of a car person, you know, ever. And I certainly wasn't back when I was, you know, 4 years old, but something about the design of that car is really fucking nice, and I loved that fucking car from that Happy Meal. It was fantastic. So, you know, Mac Tonight, that was like his last national appearance between 1997 and 98, I believe, was when he was on that NASCAR car. But they brought him back for advertisements in Southeast Asia in 2007, very briefly, where he was playing a saxophone instead of the piano. So that's Mac Tonight. You know, just trying to convince people that, hey, you know, instead of, you know, cooking a nice home meal, you know, go to McDonald's, be lazy, have McDonald's for dinner. Why the fuck not? So. Yeah, that was his whole entire purpose. And then finally, the third mascot I want to briefly talk about is like what kind of sort of replaced McDonald Land, because they had Ronald McDonald by himself for a little while, but eventually, like he started appearing in advertisements much less. Like they still use him, but not nearly as often. So like. Nowadays, for Happy Meals, they have this, like, fucking disgusting looking, depraved, insane Happy Meal box. It looks fucking gross, but apparently it can, like, shapeshift and make itself into, you know, whatever's relevant to the Happy Meals and whatnot. Fuck that fucking thing. I hate it. Bring McDonald Land back. Even though I have no vested interest in Happy Meals, I haven't had one since I was 9 years old. But fucking do it for the nostalgia. But yeah, back to things that are relevant to the game. That wolf guy that you just saw there, he's the first mini boss. He's controlling the train. You gotta hit him like 3 times with your magic, and then that little cutscene happens where Birdie saves you. So. Yeah, they started introducing mini-bosses here in this world. And another mechanic that they introduce you to for this world specifically is the sumo wrestlers. Right now they're just shifting the ground when they do their little move, but there is a section coming up very quickly that I fucking despise. Where like these assholes are throwing things out of windows at you, but like once you go further up this unfinished building that you've got to, you know, climb up to get to the boss, there will be more sumo wrestlers, and like they shift the girders around on this fucking unfinished building, and it fucking blows because. Like, the shift is so fucking fast, it makes you, like, shit your pants like Scott Morrison, you know? It's just so sudden and quick, and, it'll, like, throw you off your game, you know? It can make you, like, drop down, and dropping down in this section fucking sucks. But there's also, like, these little enemy dudes, like, you see right there, they're sliding down the girders and whatnot, so, they can hit you and also, you know, knock you off your path. And the backtracking is just awful when it comes to that particular section of the stage. So, you know, if you're playing this game, you gotta watch out for that. But thankfully, afterward, this boss is a fucking cakewalk. So he's gonna fly around and do his little thing. He's got like 2 grappling hooks there. You just let him suck up your health, and then you can jump up here. And you know, I got hit, but you know, he's so slow to rise up that you know the fucking thing's already over, and he turns out to just be this little imp, which I think is actually his name. And yeah, so that's that boss fight. I like it for its convenience factor. But, you know, we find out that the poor little guy was just sad, and Ronald, being the nice guy that he is, gives him even more magic jewels to snack on. Is that how Ronald gains his health? Does he just eat them? And then, like, the bosses, like, suck the essence of the jewels out of him, and are they solid jewels after that? Are they eating the contents of Ronald's stomach? You know, it's probably best not to think that deep into it. But yeah, so that'll just about do it here for part 2. Next time, in McDonald's Treasureland Adventure, we're going to be going to the Magical Sea. Ooh. But yeah, I'll see you there in part 3. I've been Skull902. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day.